For an equipment reference, I am watching all of my movies either on my dedicated 4K Blu-ray player in my bedroom on a 55-inch Samsung 8000 series 4K TV, and in my rec room on the Xbox One S Blu-ray player, watching those on a 65-inch Samsung 8000 series 4K TV. Just to let you know how I'm watching these movies. Wait a minute. Mortal Kombat movie, R-rated.
Get over here!
For me, it was Tuesday.
Welcome everyone to another episode of For Me, It Was Tuesday. I'm your host, GQ. Do me a quick favor. Hit the subscribe button.
Flawless victory.
Like the video. Hit the notification bell. Check out culturejunkies.net for some of the other content that we offer. Make sure you leave some comments on this video and the other videos I've done. And please, please, please check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So, for all of you guys out there, you know that I am a fighting game fan. And if you didn't know that, now you know. One of my favorite fighting game franchises has been Mortal Kombat. And for the longest time, matter of fact, this particular one marks a 24-year gap, the end of a 24-year gap in the Mortal Kombat team releasing an animation. Now, Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge is without a doubt probably one of the best pieces of Mortal Kombat media, besides the games of course, that has been released in recent memory. Like I said, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm was the first attempt at animation. That was all the way back in 1996. So yes, it's been 24 years. And this time around, it looks like Warner Brothers, who of course has the reins and has held the reins of Mortal Kombat since 2009, they decided to do it right. They gave it to a really good animation team, made it R-rated, so you're getting all your blood, guts, violence, all the stuff that I will not be able to show on this video because it'll probably get flagged. So I'm going to have to use tamer clips. But Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge, real quick as far as the voice cast, you got the voice talents of Paul Seitz as Hanzo Hasashi, aka Scorpion, the legendary Steve Blum as Bihan, also known as Sub-Zero, Joel McHale plays Johnny Cage, and Jennifer Carpenter is giving her voice to Sonya Blade. My only gripe with this film is that it seems to take the Batman killing joke approach to telling the story. And what I mean by that is, if anybody out there has seen Batman Killing Joke, of course that was also R-rated. But what they did with that is, since the Killing Joke storyline is essentially this is one book, it's a brief story. What Warner Brothers did in order to have a theatrical release is they fleshed it out a little bit more. They added essentially a side story to it with Batgirl and of course Batman, and they're falling out before they made out and had sex on the rooftop. So they told that side story. Obviously Scorpion ain't making out with nobody and none of that weirdness, but you get a situation where the story starts off telling Scorpion's story, which is what I thought the entire movie was going to be. It shows him with his son, teaching him a lesson about nature and how the scorpion is a strong-willed creature. And, teaches him that little lesson. Okay, hey, we got to get back to the village for dinner, and let's go back home. So they tell essentially his backstory with his family, and of course, everybody knows that, quote-unquote, Sub-Zero kills his family. I'm not going to give any spoilers away on that, but Sub-Zero is known to be, and his clan kills his family. And, murders his wife, murders his son, and of course kills him. The problem is, and I have zero problem with them telling that story, because that's the story I wanted to see fleshed out. And oh my goodness, speaking of flesh, Scorpion loses his mind once his family is killed. And it's just seeing him go off like that is amazing, and they did such a great job with just telling that particular story. But getting back to it, the problem is, it's almost like they treated that story as if Scorpion's backstory, they treated it almost the same way that Batgirl's backstory was treated in The Killing Joke. They put it in the front, told you what you wanted, gave you what you wanted to see, even though maybe the Batgirl story wasn't what people wanted to see. But on the Scorpion end, they gave you what you wanted to see, and then transitioned into the standard Mortal Kombat tournament story that we've all seen a million times. It's been told in the movies, it's been told in the games. So I thought that they were going to give us a little bit more Scorpion. And, you know, it is what it is. It's kind of like, look, they know Scorpion is their most popular character. Let's bring him in with Scorpion, and then we'll do a movie that also includes the original Mortal Kombat tournament. And I guess that's okay, but I personally, with Scorpion being my favorite character, I wanted more Scorpion. And again, like I said, the Scorpion action that we do get in this movie is outstanding. Every single time he's on the screen, he kills at least 5 people, if not more. Every single time he's on the screen, except for maybe one scene. And I mean, I'm very appreciative of that. Getting into some of the other characters, of course, you got Raiden, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya. Johnny Cage, again, is played as comedy relief. He's essentially the outsider. He's the one that doesn't know what's going on as far as, you know, the tournament. He thinks it's a movie role that he's been given. Sonya is always Sonya. Very straightforward military girl. Nothing really, you know, new. No new territory with either of those two characters. Liu Kang, of course, is always the stalwart Shaolin monk, or ex-Shaolin monk, destined to fight in the tournament and, you know, defend Earthrealm. Raiden, of course, is Raiden, and he's, you know, of course, being the normal hands-off Raiden, can't interfere with the tournament type of thing. Now, what you normally run into when you have films like this, or animation especially ones based on fighting games, is you have those scenes where, look, every character you know is a main character, because again, it's a video game. You pick whoever you pick, that's your main character. So what you run into with that is, okay, you can't have all the main characters fight and kill each other, because again, in this film, most fights end in death. It's not like fight, you know, okay, cool, I tapped out. It's like, no, that person's dead, finish him, all the usual, you know, Mortal Kombat fatality stuff. And this time around, they bring in a lot of cannon fodder characters, and in this case, it's Kano's Black Dragon crew. And they murk a lot of them. That's all I really can say about that. And then, of course, Sub-Zero's clan is also, at the beginning, a lot of cannon fodder for Scorpion to run through. And then when Scorpion gets killed, he goes to Netherrealm and runs through a whole bunch of demons. So it's like Scorpion is just murking people left and right, and it's fine. And like I said, that's what I expected to see. And the level of violence in this thing is off the charts. I mean, it's like bisecting heads, bisecting bodies, trisecting heads. It's just destruction, and it's for lack of a better word, and this one is beautiful. I mean, it did a really good job with it. At the end of the day, though, the only, like I said, drawback for me was I wanted the entire movie to be based on Scorpion, like essentially just, you know, extend his whole backstory, literally show, you know, his training as a youth, you know, as a youngin or whatever. I mean, whatever, just to truly be Scorpion's story. And then if you want to, you know, have the, you know, he goes to the tournament or he dies and comes back as a specter and then ends up at the tournament at the end of the movie to transition into a sequel, that would have been perfect for me. But, you know, like I said, they front loaded it, gave you Scorpion's origin, and then go right to the tournament. So it's like, you know, I personally, with a movie called Scorpion's Revenge, I wanted all Scorpion all the time, but they didn't do it that way, and that's fine. It's their film. I get it. Overall, it's a good release. Definitely worth picking up. As far as the 4K transfer, nothing special on 4K. It's not like a better looking film, because again, it's animation, and animation can be improved to 4K sometimes, and sometimes it's just a slightly sharper picture. What you do run into on this one, as far as extras, you get some backstory about each of the combatants, the different fighters. You get information about the clothing, essentially, like the designs is like where they kind of took some elements from the video games and things that you know, and then some newer stylized versions of characters that you know. So I mean, it's not a 100% rip straight from what you know from the games. It's kind of an amalgamation of the game designs as well as, you know, some new designs or new takes on the characters. You also have an entire featurette about the sound design, and that I thought was actually pretty cool, because I mean, it's Mortal Kombat. It's a lot of slicing, dicing, bone crunching, and all of that, and they actually give a featurette talking about all of the different, just aspects of the sound effects and some of the weird methods they use to get the sounds that they have in this particular film. They also, of course, have a transition from video game to animation. They have a featurette about that, essentially a making of. And of course, there's a director's commentary. So all in all, Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge is a good pickup. It's definitely worth it in my opinion. I essentially, like you see, I've got the 4K one. Again, if you're not all about the extras and the director's commentary, and you like digital copies or whatever, just get it on digital. If you are like me and you like having all that extra back information, all the extra information, go ahead and pick it up physical. It's definitely worth the purchase. I definitely recommend it. But I'm going to leave you with these final words. For many of you out there, the first time you saw a Mortal Kombat machine, all the way back in 1992. Some of you weren't even born when the Mortal Kombat game came out. But the first time you saw that, and you saw a ninja dressed in black and yellow throw a spear into his opponent and then violently yank him over with the "get over here." Well, for me too, it was actually the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life, and he became my favorite character right at that moment. For many of you out there, that was just, again, the greatest moment in your life. But for me,
It was Tuesday.
I'll see you guys next time. If you're enjoying our content, please consider going to our Patreon and becoming a supporter. There are different tiers to select from, and we thank you for your support.
Culture Junkies!